We're excited here at MLC Recording today because we have one or more musicians coming in to work out a song that they've been given. The studio is clean and ready, and before you know it, we will all be busy trying to figure out how to record this song. I believe you will learn something along the way, and I hope that you enjoy this session of Working It Out and watching how talented musicians work out how to get a song recorded in a day. Hey, you never know. Let's just see what happens when musicians are working it out. All right. Here we are once again with Chris Meyer, drummer extraordinaire. And this is another Working It Out project. Mm-hmm. With a little bit of a twist. So it's not like previous projects where we've had a bunch of musicians came in, they didn't really know each other, and they worked on a song. This is you. Well, tell me, what is this? What are we doing here?
Former colleague of mine wanted to put some Latin drums on a tune that he was recording. So he's down in New Jersey, and he sent me the track, and he was basically thinking like, what do you think you could add to this? And then I asked, well, what are you looking to add to it? And we started some discussions and spoke with Don, and here we are, laying it down. Okay, so this is kind of a Latin jazzy kind of thing. Yeah, it's definitely something that's different from Joey, the guitarist. It's a little bit of a departure from what he normally does, because he usually does like a lot of funk.
Okay. So this is groove. Not his normal thing.
Yeah, like it's really groove based is the stuff that he normally writes. So this is a departure for him. It's definitely a departure for me.
Well, when you first said, can we do this? I thought, Latin, a lot of syncopation.
Yeah.
But then when I listened to the scratch track, it's really more just kind of floating, and there's some elements of that kind of floating in and out. It's interesting. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it's a sweet tune.
It's got strings. It's got guitar. It's some bass comes in, and it's a pretty cool tune. So
yeah. I would consider it like an orchestration almost.
Yeah. So, but this is not what you normally do, right?
No, I mean, I think typically when I'm in the studio, I'm doing like rock or metal or something around those lines. But I mean, like the Latin music. If you're a drummer, you're not into Latin music to some degree. You're missing out.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's so much cool stuff.
And so this song comes flying into your inbox. Your buddy says, "Hey, can you lay down drums on this?" And of course, you immediately said yes.
Like, of course.
And I know where to record it.
Yes, I know where to record it, and I know where we have the hand percussion and everything that we need.
Yep.
To lay this down.
So we can just kind of get a view of. So we've got Chris on his drums here. Mm-hmm. We're also set up to do some conga work.
Yeah, some white oak staves.
Yeah. And then so a little cajon perhaps add in there. This doesn't really have a great snare in it, but it does have a rasp.
Yeah. Snare.
So we're gonna do it all here. So again, not what you've done in the past or not what you normally do.
No.
What's your thought process? Like, how did you figure out? Like, okay, you listened to it several times. Mm-hmm. How did you kind of dream up what you want to do here today?
Well, I was talking to Joey because I mean, basically he's the customer.
Yeah.
And I wanted some tracks. Like, what other tracks do you think of with this song, as far as other drums that you've heard? And he sent me a bunch of tunes that have Brazilian back end, so like samba, stuff like that. So that was kind of my approach, knowing his background, and also we both are big Bill Withers fans. So I had that kind of going into that's in the back of my head. So I'm like, all right. There's a great track where they have musicians from Rio in a Bill Withers tune. So that song's for inspiration, just kind of getting like a light groove in the background, and then listening to the source tracks, and then I just played over and over and over again until I could find out what clicked, what made sense, what was tasteful, but out of the way of the other instruments.
What doesn't work?
Yeah,
those kinds of things. And so you're ready today. You've kind of figured out what you want to do. So tell us what we're going to do here as far as what we're doing on the drums, what we might be doing on the congas and the cajon.
Yeah, certainly. So the drums are basically going to make the music a little bit more approachable. I don't want to say it's going to give it like a huge backbeat or anything of that nature, but it's going to be, light, timekeeping, add a little bit of that samba flair that Joey was looking for, that sort of thing. So that's basically what the drums are doing. Like maybe there's like a little bit of fill here and there, a little bit of cymbal wash.
But not like super heavy.
No, I'm not gonna be doing like blast beats on this. That would be completely inappropriate.
Triplets.
Yeah. None of the. I'm not using double pedals. I'm using a soft beater for this. Like,
okay.
We got a nice buttery bass drum tone. It's gonna be a little different than what we normally do. And then track again. Put some congas in there. Put a cajon in there just to add extra layers rhythmically.
Yeah. Any like handshakers and things like that?
Yes, handshakers. Probably go-go bells. I'm gonna look. I know there's a ton of stuff in there, so I'm going to see what we have.
Yeah, and you have your...
Yeah, we got wind chimes.
Your wind chimes.
Yeah. Actually,
it's...
We have the TreeWorks wind chimes. Those ones are actually...
Oh, yeah, I have those.
Yeah.
I always say do more than you need, because you can always not use it.
Yeah, and I figured we're going to give him the whole, like, here's everything.
Yeah.
And then he can always just take it away, fade it in, fade it out. Because it's my understanding that he wants to keep adding other instruments and other players from... who knows where.
Yeah, well, that's one of the cool things. That's actually one of the things that I like to expose is, you're sitting in your car or you're in your shower and you're listening to music, but you really have no idea how that was put together.
Yeah.
Other than, somebody recorded it, whether they did it all at once or they did it piece by piece, right? Which we'll kind of do here. We'll build. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that here's this guy in New Jersey who's doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
Another project you and I are working on, there's a guy in Connecticut playing the bass.
Yep.
Right? And, we're spread all over the place, but when it all comes together, that's the job of me, right? Is to put it all together and make it sound like it all happened at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So hopefully we can...
metronomes are important. Please use a metronome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, the track you sent me didn't have it, and I tried to get the one that did. It didn't matter. It's 100 BPM.
Yep.
And I gave you an 8 count coming in, so I just turned on the click, and so we're in sync, I think.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can listen to it.
I have a version with the click too, if you want.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary unless you find my click is off a little bit, but I don't think
it is 100 BPM.
It's 100 BPM. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of get you wired up here in terms of get your monitor levels.
Okay.
We'll get the scratch track in your ears, and then we'll start kind of figuring out. I'm assuming you want to run through this a couple of times, just kind of make sure the things that you were thinking of are
get
work.
A feel for the track, the studio sound, make sure my monitor's all that I can hear everything.
Yep. Okay. So we're going to do that. So we're going to let Chris get out of here for a minute, or I'll get out of here for a minute and let him kind of play a little bit. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
This is after we did the take on the drums itself. So,
yeah.
So how'd you feel about that? I know we just listened to it and
really, really good. I think as far like this snare drum fits exactly what I thought it would do.
Yeah, I like it's. I know a lot of musicians and people use the word buttery smooth, but
It is
soft.
It's
It's
very
really,
soft, yeah.
really nice. And what is that thing in the center?
This is actually a steel plate, so on the bottom, it just helps with overtones, makes it so it's a little bit more direct. I mean, this
and
is
then is that all copper?
yeah, it's a copper snare drum. It just which gives you like a just a fatter initial tone. It's not sharp.
Okay.
Which it's like buttery again.
So I would think, and a lot of people may or may not know this, because when they go to a concert, they see the drummers all set up, and not that many people get to see what goes on in the studio, but
Yeah.
you have several snares.
Yeah, I have a problem.
And and I'm sure that when you were trying to figure out what you were doing, you're also picking the right snare.
Yeah.
And the right cymbal.
Yeah,
right?
Right cymbal. So these are big 22-inch. This one, like you can touch it and the whole, it's because it's super thin. Like I can physically bend it with my hands.
Yep.
So all just big washy.
And where were the bell sounds coming from? This one?
So yeah, this is like more like your salsa bell.
Yep.
And this is more like the direct.
Okay. Yep.
So you'll hear it in both, but there'll be some accents. Like this is a little bit more in your face. So like you'll hear that bell and it sounds more like metal. It sounds like more metal contact as opposed to like a bell.
Not metal as in metal music.
No.
But you're making a good point, or maybe I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have that ride. I have a ride that's probably as heavy as these two combined. That is only appropriate for like the heaviest death metal music. Yeah. Death metals.
But my point was that you don't just come in here, sit down on the drum set and play. You pick all the pieces,
sure.
And in some cases tune the drums. I'm not saying you tune them, but you get them so that the ring is less, and everything sounds nice and tight, and you get the sound that you want. So
so see how this is missing the snares here?
Oh, in the middle.
Yeah, because that normally chokes out the drum, which can give you a more direct sound, which is great for rock.
Okay, all right.
But that's what keeps it nice and open, and like you'll hear the chains, and it feels like airy and.
So we're good with this take.
Yeah.
We got a good take, and now what we're going to do is we're going to shift over to the congas, and so we'll get set up with the congas, and then we'll come back and we'll see what's going on there.
Yeah.
All right. So we've made the switch from the drum set.
Yeah.
We've taken our Earthworks QT1s microphones, which I absolutely adore, and we've set them up in not just a traditional 6-inch bridge, but we widen them out a little bit because we want the conga sound to really, resonate and have a good, true stereo separation. The one thing I know you got to be careful of is if you get them too wide, then it's an abnormal sound, right? It just doesn't sound. It just sounds
impossible.
Weird.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how do they get a sound like that? Yeah. So, but I think this will work, and I can pan them too. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take care of doing the conga part. So obviously you've already thought about these.
Yeah.
So let's give it a go.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so we got the congas down.
Congas are down.
Right. We've reconfigured the Earthworks microphones a little bit closer together on a standard 6-inch bridge. And so what are you thinking to do here for this part?
Add some more texture. It's just a shaker. I think it'll layer on real nice.
You won't just do the same thing through. You'll do some...
Yeah, it'll adjust to the part.
Okay, so being familiar with the music, you'll make changes. Yeah. All right, let's see how that goes.
Sounds good.
Okay, hold on. I know that we've been watching this layer after layer after layer. I think you get the picture. Even though we have lots of video of all the layers that we did, I'm going to cut right to the chase here. Let's take a look at the video with all the layers put together. And so you can hear the full sound of all the layers that we added and see how it sounds to you. Let's take a listen to that. So we did it. We got things all layered down there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think people realize that, like, you can't possibly play all those things at the same time.
No,
You know what
maybe
I'm
there's
saying?
one person who can. I don't know who that guy is.
I mean, are you Mike Portnoy or
Yeah, it's like
one of these
Mangini,
other?
maybe.
Yeah.
Most of it.
Kenny Arnoff.
Yeah. We had his cowbell in there. We didn't use it though. We used his salsa cowbell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the fact is that, you know, we did 7 passes of this song, and each pass brought on another layer. So
Yeah.
first layer with drums, then congas, shakers, cowbell,
There's also
woodblock,
there's like a clave,
triangle, and then cajon. So I mean,
yeah.
and each time we did this, we had to stop, reset,
Mm-hmm.
and arm the next track for recording and lay down the next one. So
Yeah.
and for each except for the cajon, we did stereo tracks.
Yes. Yeah.
For the drums, obviously, there were 8 tracks, but everything else other than the cajon was a pair of tracks. And we featured our Earthworks microphones,
Yep.
the
Those were
QT1s.
fantastic.
Yes, really, really good. And so, how you feeling? You think your buddy will like this?
I think I like it. I mean, I think we gave him a lot to work with. He might decide to keep all of the parts. I mean, as he adds more layers with other musicians, maybe some of it will clash, but
Yep.
we gave him enough texture and everything that he can really play with it, and then whoever's making the mix will certainly be able to, kind of take and pick and make it what they want to make it into. So I think we
I always
give him
say
a lot.
more is less.
Yeah, or like it's
Because they can always take stuff out, but they can't fabricate
exactly
stuff to put in. I mean, they could.
They can fade things in.
Let's
fade
be
things
honest.
out,
They could take your kick drum and double it somewhere if
turn
they
it into a
want,
sousaphone,
they can do all kinds of things like that. But that's probably not the
Yeah.
best use of your time. So,
Yeah.
so thank you from Chris Meyer and MLCRecording.com, and hopefully you enjoy this, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you guys in the studio.